Hi everyone, Roxanne here from Finance Rocks. Going to give it a second here for people to hop on. Let's see here. As you hop on, welcome, and go ahead and start thinking about what kind of money habits you currently have. Good or bad, just whatever habits you have that you can think of. So I've thought a little bit lately about like daily habits, weekly habits, monthly habits. We probably have a combination of all of those. And then thinking through, there's little things that we do maybe multiple times per day for financial habits. And maybe there are things that we do once per day. So some examples like turning off the light switches when you leave the room. That's something, we do to save money, but it's a little thing we do somewhat unconsciously probably, just well-ingrained habits. But so to get you guys thinking about what kind of money habits you currently have, do you track your spending and review your finances every week? We have like a Sunday habit of my husband and I meet and go through what we spent that week and plan out the next week, look at expenses, that kind of thing. Say hi too in the comments if you feel comfortable doing that. I never know if people do or not, but so let's go ahead. I'll do a summary of what we're going to go over today. I have quite a bit planned. I have a whole sheet, so I'm going to try to keep it to less. I will definitely keep it to less than an hour. Try to respect your guys' time. Thank you for hopping on. So a summary, we're going to talk about why set daily financial habits and goals. Talk about tiny habits, coming up with small habits that we can do, and then stacking those up so that way we can make big change. Going to talk about the difference between lead and lag measures when it comes to goal setting. If you guys are familiar with that, let me know in the comments so that way I kind of know how much detail to go into on that. We'll talk about money lead goals, and so give more examples about things that you can do every day to improve your finances. If we have time, I will talk about anchoring. So how to anchor new habits onto existing habits, because that's one way to be more successful with habit creation and habit change. And then I'm going to talk about how to track your habits. There's an app called coach.me that I really like to use. That's coach.me. So I'll talk about that a little bit. And I am trying to get certified to be a coach through there right now. So at the end, I'll talk a little bit about, I'm looking for 4 to 10 people. I mean, I already had one, so I guess 3 to 9 people that want to sign up for 2 months of free habit coaching, daily habit coaching. So I'll talk about that at the end. Yeah, let's see here. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it then. Welcome. It looks like we had another person join. Let's see. So let's talk about why daily money goals are important. So I think that keeping things on the top of your mind is a great way to make sure that you're making progress towards your goals. So if you have daily goals, it can really help to cement that and keep you going because, we all get busy. We don't always think about our goals all the time. So having a daily habit is going to help us to keep on track and save more money. I think it helps build discipline. If you are thinking about your finances every day and doing this, even small habits of whichever you choose, that helps build our discipline. And I've been talking a lot lately about financial identity, and building these little daily habits can help support like the good financial identities that we want to have. Like if you are trying to be a more frugal person, then certainly you can look at this daily habit and say, oh, I've done this habit every day for the last month. Like that helps support my identity that I'm trying to foster of becoming a frugal person and saving more money. So for tiny habits are great because they help give us little wins that give us motivation to keep going on our financial goals. They're a lot more sustainable. It's so tempting. I'm an ambitious person. I'm sure you guys also, have set really big goals, and then it can feel overwhelming. You can get off track. But if you set little money goals, then it's just a lot more sustainable. And then you can set one, and once you have that established, you can add additional tiny goals on top of that, and just creating kind of a sustainable lifestyle of being frugal and saving money. Oh, hey, Long Run with Joel and Christy. Welcome, guys. Thank you for saying hey. Wave to you. So is this Joel or Christy or both? I never know with you guys, two of you. One of the other benefits of tiny habits is it's less overwhelming than big goals, like I said, but it also helps reduce procrastination. So like I've had goals of doing a handstand, for example, and then just waiting until like November. And then I'm like, oh, I should probably be working on this goal every day. So if you set your goal, and there's nothing wrong with having that big goal, that outcome that you're looking for. It's just when you thinking of it in terms of little daily actions helps to prevent that procrastination. You can get started doing, you could say like, okay, I'm going to do 10 push-ups every day to help build upper body strength, which I absolutely need to do. I don't know if you noticed. Christy, Joel's at work. Hey, Christy, thank you. All right, any questions on making like money habits tiny, or kind of starting to think about what are some of the tiny money habits that you guys have? Give you a second here to type in if you want. Maybe are you guys even familiar with this idea of tiny habits? Excuse me. I love the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he talks all about, making goals small, or making your habits very small so that way you can stick to them consistently. It's kind of unrealistic and a little bit, I don't know, sometimes we're kind of harsh on ourselves, expecting us to come up with these big daily habits to try to stick to. When I first started like trying to come up with a morning routine, it was like a full page of like, okay, I'm going to do 5 minutes of stretching, look at one of my goal boards, review my goals, all these different things, work out, read, journal. And, it's a lot nicer if we can just think of one little goal that we're going to focus on and then just build from there. So let's talk about lead and lag measures. So this is a goal setting theory. The theory is that we can be a lot more successful if we focus on lead measures for our finances instead of lag measures. So lead measures, well, let's start with lag measures. So there's a common example of, I agree, small changes last longer because they're less overwhelming. Yeah, thank you. I agree too. I think that I've certainly been a lot more successful with it, and it just makes more sense to me. So there's this common example of the saleswoman, or woman. So an example would be the lag goal to increase sales by $1,000 this month. So that's the outcome that they're going after. A version of that would be a lead measure, would be make 10 calls every day. So 10 calls to potential clients. So it's just kind of a reframe to come up with like daily actions you can do instead of just focusing on that bigger outcome. Another example would be with weight loss. A lot of people will say, I want to lose 15 pounds over the next month. So instead of that lag measure, you could instead say, I'm going to eat a salad for breakfast every day, which is a tip that I've heard of. Kind of like get your, if you eat greens first thing in the morning, then, you're at least having some fresh vegetable, and, you can have like cranberries or sweeter dressing on it to help kind of build in that like healthy habit early in the morning first. So there are a lot of different kinds of lead goals that we can set for finances. Tracking spending, keeping like a diary or journal of your spending, and just reviewing spending as well. Checking your bank balance. I think most people are pretty good about maybe not doing it every day, but a weekly habit of checking bank balances. Money mantras. So identifying like 1 or 2 mantras that you can go over each day, or just having a habit of looking for one every day. Just going to Google and finding an image of a mantra or something that is inspiring. Consuming financial content. This is one of my favorite ones, and is one that I've done, that I was doing when I was like paying off debt and trying to save an emergency fund. I would just go out to MSN and go to the money tab. And every day I would read one article like 5 ways to save on utilities, 5 ways to save on transportation, and then kind of eventually incorporating some of those. But the habit was just around reading the content and kind of exploring different things that I could do to save money. And then 1 task per day is another daily habit that I've had for our finances. So this would be things like calling about setting up an IRA, getting this question answered, to set up a retirement account. It could be things like negotiating your internet cost. You can call and see if they'll negotiate it down for you. And then, can you guys think of any others? I've been trying to explore what the options are for daily money habits. And money is tough. I don't think it's quite as easy with money as it is with like weight loss. There's tons of things you could do, right? Like have 1 fresh fruit and 1 fresh vegetable per day. Work out 5 minutes per day, or do like one push-up, 10 push-ups. I don't know. 1 seems like a lot to me, but so any kind of daily habits that you could do. Reading. Okay, reading would be a good one too. So maybe read a book on finance, 5 minutes a day, something like that. Let's talk about Keystone habits. So there's this theory that you can identify 1 particular habit that kind of makes all of your other habits easier. So people say, a really common one is working out. So people say if they do just like a 30-minute workout in the morning, that the rest of the day, they're much more likely to do all kinds of other healthy habits. So if you're trying to save money, you could like maybe working out in the morning would help you with that goal, which seems strange, right? It seems like that's surprising to me that you could work out and see improvements in your finances. But that's what the research kind of shows, is that there are certain habits that are really helpful for helping you establish other healthy habits. I've heard it vice versa too. A lot of people that start making improvements in their finances see improvements in their health and relationships, other areas of their life. So there's some cross-pollination going on. So, hey Megan, her courage to plan, welcome. So the Long Run with Joel and Christy and Her Courage to Plan are also great channels. If you are trying to create a daily money habit of consuming financial content, those would both be good channels to follow. So I wanted to talk about tracking spending specifically, because I think that this is one of those habits that can be a keystone habit for your finances. So I read about a study that said that people that keep a food diary 6 days per week lost about twice as much weight as those who kept food records 1 day per week or less. So just the action of tracking what they were eating helps people to lose weight more. Once again, seems strange, right? That just writing it down can actually affect what you eat. But they say that that partially this is because you're more aware of what you're, we tend to mindlessly eat or to eat out of boredom instead of out of hunger. I'm guilty of that. So it makes us more aware of the habit that we're doing. There's also a little bit of like, you don't want to take the time to write down what you're eating. So then you're a little less likely to be like, it's a little vote for the better, healthier option, right? Because if you're going to log it, if someone else is going to see it, like if you have an accountability partner, just the act of writing it down is helpful from that point of view. Oh, hey. Okay. I don't know how to say your channel name. Or Ivory? I bet maybe Avery. I bet you get that a lot. Sorry. Welcome. Thank you for commenting. Get a drink of water here. Okay, so let's talk about anchoring. Have you guys heard of anchoring before? So anchoring is kind of this theory that you can use your existing habits as a starting point for adding or modifying new habits. So it's really hard to create a habit out of thin air. If you're like, okay, every day at 10 or whatever, I'm going to try to check my bank balance. So it's a lot harder to do that than to say, every day after I brush my teeth, I'm going to go and check my bank balance. If you have a habit that you do every day, it's easier to add on to that than just to create it out of thin air. So maybe let's think about walking through our actual day-to-day life and thinking about what habits we have right now. And the funny thing about habits is that, we create routines that help us to not have to think so much throughout the day. Like we usually don't like go to brush our teeth and like forget how to do it, or, you can brush your teeth and, not really think about the process until afterwards. And you're like, okay, yeah, I wasn't really thinking about it, but I did it. So thinking about walking through the day, what are your like wake up routines? Do you wake up at the same time every day? What do you do right when your alarm goes off? Do you check your phone? I know they say that's bad, but I do that a lot. So checking your phone, you go to the bathroom, do you brush your teeth? Do you start the coffee, start the tea? All of those are little tiny habits that you already have that you could possibly attach new habits to. Other ones are getting ready for work and driving to work. That's a common one. Like people will say, as soon as I get into my car to go to work, I do this. Now, I don't know about you guys. My daily routine has changed thanks to coronavirus. So I don't know if everyone is still driving to work, but driving home from work is a good one because then you can have like kind of a reset routine. I heard about this from, I think, Brendan Burchard. He's from Butte, Montana too, which is near where I grew up, but he's a big motivational speaker. And he talks about kind of setting your energy when you come home at the end of the day. People tend to kind of be tired, and not having that like little pep up when you get home can affect your productivity for the rest of the night, or it can affect your relationships if your energy is low. So I think it was him that talks about maybe doing like a tiny 5-minute workout right when you get home, or like taking a minute to kind of calm yourself down in your vehicle before you come in. Or if you're working from home, like taking a minute to just kind of relax in your office before you move on to the next step, the next part of your day. So then thinking through what kind of habits you already have, then you could say, I'm going to add this new financial habit to the end of it. So maybe you brush your teeth in the morning and then you go and read a finance book for a few minutes, or look up MSN Money and read one article about tips to save. You could have a lunchtime routine of, maybe that's when you go and like cruise for finance mantras, like how to have an abundance mindset is a good one to do, or, kind of running through ones that you've already found that resonate with you. Megan says, just started back to work Monday, working 10-hour days. Oh yeah, physical jobs, they take it out of you. And I do walk before coming home and am able to shower. And all I'm able to do is shower, eat, sleep. I hear you. For the longest time, I was like, how does anybody do anything when they're working a full-time job? Especially when I was trying to run more. I was just like, I can barely feed myself. So yeah, thinking of that, I do think that it's better if you have a really draining job to try to do any daily habits before you go to work, because then you'll still have some energy and motivation. They say that our motivation is higher in the morning than in the afternoon and evening, because we get tired and we experience decision fatigue, so mental tiredness from the full day. So anything that you can do in the morning in that case, if you work 10-hour days, hopefully you have the other days of the week where it's a bit more flexible. But I do think morning habits are more successful in general. So, thinking about how you can incorporate any new habits that you want to incorporate based on your current ones. Any questions on that, on how to anchor habits? There's a lot more you can do. In Atomic Habits, he also talks about making your new habit really easy and visible in your life, and making bad habits invisible. So if you want to watch less TV, hiding your remote under a couch cushion, which I don't know that I would recommend, because then you could lose it. I would lose it probably. So making and then if you're trying to play guitar more, putting your guitar out on the couch where you will see it all the time. So, oh gosh, I did not think through this ahead of time, but if you wanted to make your daily money habits more visible, what could you do? You could maybe leave open a tab on your computer with your bank login, or if you have if you're going to be tracking your money, having your tracking journal open on a table that you will see and, kind of trigger you. Oh yeah, I need to do my habit. Just helps make it a lot easier. If you're trying to floss, they say keep your floss out on the counter instead of in the drawer. So that's making it more visible. So those are good ways to kind of help the successfulness, help you be more successful with establishing some of these daily money habits. Okay, tracking, the next item. So tracking habits is helpful. It helps us to see kind of when we are struggling. I mean, a lot of the times we know, but I think it helps to reinforce that we are doing the habit, even if it's not all the time. So I've tracked habits in my bullet journal before, just having a page where I can go and do a little checkbox if I successfully do my one finance task per day. Just go and do a checkbox. I've used an app called Habitica, which is a fun way to kind of gamify your habits. So you can go and you essentially the same thing. Do the checkbox saying, yes, I accomplished it this day. And then you can look back at your statistics and say, oh, okay, I'm accomplishing this 80% of the time. That's pretty good. And I should probably say that too, expecting yourself to do 100% of the time on the habit is pretty unrealistic. Certainly it's good to try to shoot for, but if you're doing 90% of the time, I call that a win. So, and then coach.me. So I mentioned this at the beginning, but it's coach.me, and I did include the link below. And I like this site. You can go in and add multiple goals. They have some existing ones that you can sign up for, and then you can actually see other people that have that same goal. It's free to use. You can go in and create an account for free. You can set up all kinds of different goals. I have like workout 3 times a week. I have save money. And then reading goals. You can read 10 minutes per day and list that on there. I can't show you a screenshot because I'm just webcam streaming, but coach.me is a really great site. And then I am trying to get registered to be a coach on coach.me. So there is the free portion, and then they have a feature where you can hire a coach to help with accountability. We do no spend days every month, and we use the habit tracker app. Awesome. Every night I have it set to say, did you spend money today? So it helps knowing that I'm going to answer that question. Yeah, thank you. That's a great point. I love doing my no spend day tracking as well. I think that that's a good, it's along the lines of tracking money. So yeah, thank you. So they have the free side of the app where you can track your habits. It's kind of like the habit tracking app, probably. I haven't been on that one specifically, but I downloaded a bunch of habit tracking apps when I was first getting into, trying to improve my habits. And then there's the paid side. And so part of the certification, I need to coach 4 to 10 people for 2 months, and it is free while I'm in training. And you guys probably know, maybe know, I am an experienced financial coach. I've done 3 years weekly and monthly coaching. So it is kind of a learning experience for me to figure out how to take those and break them down into daily habits, which is why it's free for the first 2 months. 2 months is a long time to commit to. So it's daily habit coaching for 2 months. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm going to be coaching the habit of save money. So like I said, I think the keystone habit for that is tracking spending. So you can do it a few different ways. You can message me as you're buying things throughout the day. You can just send me a summary at the end of the day with what you purchased, or you can just log it yourself and not send it, and then just let me know each day if you tracked it. And then, once that's established, then, you can move on to incorporating other daily habits. So just like you would if you were trying to work through saving money yourself. So I think it'll be fun. I'm really excited about it. I already had one person sign up. So I need 3 more people, and then I could have up to 9 more people. So if you're interested, if you want to email me at rocks@financerocks.com, link is below. And then I just wanted to leave a few seconds at the end here to get some feedback. What was the most helpful takeaway from this live session? And then is there anything that you'd like more information about? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Megan. You're sweet. You'll do an awesome job coaching. Thanks. So most helpful takeaway, and then what would you like more information about? So to recap, we talked about why it's important to set daily money habit goals, how to set tiny goals, lead versus lag measure, keystone habits, and anchoring, how to anchor your habits to your existing habits. I just talked at you guys a whole bunch, so I'll give you a second. Okay, yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions, I'll go ahead and let you go. That was, I think, exactly a half hour. So thank you all for joining, checking in. And it's always nice to see you guys in real time. And yeah, not fun. Have a good weekend. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.